Good morning, Cindy. Good evening, Yanis. How do you do? Can you get a signal coming from us? I'm very happy to be here with you today. Shabbat Shalom, friends. Shabbat Shalom, friends on YouTube. Good to hear from you, Cindy. And Yanis, I hope you're well too. Yes, you can hear. Good, good. I saw, Cindy, that there is a question here. Yes, on question channel about the wheat. If the wheat is considered to be a tree, in the laws we hear many times that the tree of knowledge was wheat. Yes, the tree of knowledge was wheat. Is it the first time you hear it, or you read it somewhere, or you're familiar with this idea that the tree of knowledge is considered to be wheat? A little familiar. Why the tree of knowledge or the sages relate to the wheat as the tree of knowledge? What do we make from wheat and what happens to us? Yes, usually there's a wheat and there's a harvest of the wheat, and afterwards the grains are being taken to the station when the grains are being, I don't know how to say miller, like the verb of milling, miller, to the miller, and then comes, yes, milled, and then there's a flour, and from the flour we add some yeast and water and oil, depends, yes, and then from this material, from this dough, we put it in the fire or in the oven, and we have bread. When people are eating bread, there's a sense of fulfillment, of satisfaction, but also a sense of I am the owner of life, or I have a personal doership, a lot of sense of selfing. Yes, I am what I see is a fact, and what I know is the best. And this is what comes when we eat bread. So, in a way, the sages saw this image and they consider the wheat as the tree of knowledge. Because when we eat bread, there's a sense of self-puffness. Yes, like the bread grows with the yeast in the oven in the heat and get puffed. Also, the self-image of ourselves is getting puffed and huge, and we think that we are everything, omnipotent. Yes, so therefore the wheat is considered to be the tree of knowledge. In other laws we shall find that also that the tree of knowledge is or was vine or fig. This is quite interesting. It depends on the law and the intention. Most welcome. You're most welcome. There is a beautiful research that we did once about the flour and the wheat, and there is a parallel let's say process between the filtering of wheat and the French Revolution. If you have the time to read about this is quite interesting. There is a parallel process between the way people used to cultivate the wheat and to mill it to make flour during the generations, and the development of making flour from the wheat, and historical events. There are more than one research that show a parallel process, and we see a movement in a way from the last quarter of the 18th century, 17th something, like the French Revolution and the establishment of the United States. It's parallel times, and the process of, let's say, milling the wheat or making the bread. There's a beautiful research, and with a sense of individuality that comes with it. It's beautiful to read about it. During this time, they learned to filter more and more and more the flour from the component, like, let's say, the shell of the wheat, which is a nourishing part, and they reach more and more purification. They remove more and more the shell, which has a nutritious value, and what is left is only white flour without the nourishment value. Because if people now eat a bit of the shell of the wheat, it causes, when we eat it, it slows down the release of sugar into the blood. If we remove the shell of the wheat, and we eat only the white flour, it turns immediately into sugar, and it burns inside like a flame when we eat it. But when we eat the flour with a bit of the shell, which is also milled in a moderation, we ensure that we shall not receive a sugar, hit while eating bread. Today in the Western world, there is like epidemic of eating white flour and diabetes, and because people only eat the sugar part, the puff part of the flour, and not the nourishing part. Yes. Have you read A Tale of Two Cities? The book opens with a dual parallel, sentence. It was the best of time, it was the worst of time, taking place around in the French Revolution. No, I have not. I'm not sure. Maybe I did. Maybe in Hebrew, maybe in other. I will check it. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes. Thank you. The word for wheat is chita. Chita, this is wheat. Yes. And let's say sin, though I don't like to speak about it so much, this is just about the Hebrew, because there isn't any sin. But the word exists. It means also, as a noun, it means a sin, those letters, but it means also, as a verb, it means to purify, to clean, to disinfect. Lechate, it is interesting. The same letters as a noun, it means a sin. Yes, to commit a sin, so to speak. But the same letters as a verb, lechate, it means to purify, to disinfect. Yes, as a verb. Any questions about the wheat, about the fig, about the vine? Weinreb in his book exposes very interesting relationship between the 7 species of the land, which is mentioned in Deuteronomy 8:8, and the days of the week, or the 7 spheres, when wheat wheat, is considered to be related to the first day of creation, Yom Echad, when everything is binded. Yes? This is the wheat. Yes? The wheat or grace. This is Yom Echad. When barley, yes, is the second day, or Sfirat Gvura, overcoming, and so on. When vine is the third day, and fig the fourth day, pomegranate the fifth day, and the olive the sixth day, and the palm is, or honey or palm, is the seventh day or seventh sphere. Yes, Yanis, what did you want to say? You can also speak. You can unmute yourself and speak. When the children of Israel reached the promised land, manna was no longer provided, but yes, the manna was not. Yes, the manna considered to be the bread of the nights, lechem abirim. The manna was provided. This is the bread from heavens, lechem abirim, the bread of the nights. And once they crossed the Jordan River, they ate from the country, from the land, not from the heavens. And this is quite interesting, as long as they were walking in the desert for 40 years, they ate the heavenly bread or the manna. Yes, because the desert time, let's call it the desert walk, is symbolized by dualistic or by combat, because it's like 40 years, yes, and 42 voyages. Yes, this is duality, always in conflict. So there was a need all the time to balance this duality or polarity. Therefore, they ate for 40 years the manna. It comes from the heaven. It's the one that balanced the negotiation or the complex moments in the desert. Because the value of desert in Hebrew is also dual. How do you say? It's an even number. Midbar, Bamidbar, in the desert, Midbar itself, yes, is 246. 246. This is a dual number. Or Bamidbar, the book of Numbers, Bamidbar, this is 248 again. This is an even number. So there is no balance. There is no one, always two. This is the characteristic. This is why they're always coming in complaints to Moses. And yes, there is no stability. Therefore, they're eating the manna that comes from the heaven to balance between the two. This is non-two. Therefore, they eat the manna. But once they reach the promised land, they cross the Jordan, they can eat from the land or from the country, yes, because it comes from the ground. Yes, they're not nomadic anymore. They can eat from the land. Do you understand why, while moving as nomadic people, they in a way had to eat the manna, and while they're sitting in a constant or the place of civilization, they can eat from the land? Do you understand the two? The difference between the manna and to eat the bread from that comes from the land? Do you understand this distinction? There is a blessing, yes, that people say in Hebrew about eating bread, hamotzi, that takes the bread out of the earth, hamotzi, המוציא לחם מן הארץ. This is how people bless before they eat. Hamotzi, the one who takes out, yes, the bread from the earth. Yes, this is the blessing. The bread comes from the earth, from the wheat. Yes, that comes where the wheat grows from the earth. So the blessing is Hamotzi lechem min haaretz, the one who takes the bread out of the earth. But this blessing cannot, in a way, be told about the manna, because the manna does not come from the land or from the country. It comes from the heavens. Do you understand the difference between the nourishment that used to come from the heavens during the nomadic time in the desert and the nourishment that comes from the land once they are crossing the Jordan? Do you understand the difference? The balance comes from the land, from the civilization, from sitting in one place. Yes, so they can eat from the land, the wheat, yes, or the toast, as the verse says in Joshua, yes, from the land, yes. But while they are walking in the desert is an uncivilized space. Yes, the Sahara today, it's just, when we speak today, even today about desert, we're speaking about nothing can grow there. There's no precipitation. And if we are next to a desert, the verb that we use is to cross the desert. Yes, like to cross hell. Yeah? It's not a mode of being in the desert. Therefore, they had to be nourished by the higher. Questions about the bread, about the wheat? Interesting word that came a few minutes before we started is the word for flood. The word for flood, mabul, is wheat associated with light. Yes, of course, yes. Wheat is associated with the first day of creation. Yes, about the first day of creation, it has been said, Vahi Erev, Vahi Boker, and there was evening and there was morning, Yom Echad, when everything is bound together. Yes. In this day, yes, Vayehi Or, and Vayehi Or, and there was light. Yes. What kind of a light is it? What kind of a light brings the wheat? In which time of the year do we harvest the wheat? Later, the barley, yes, maybe here at the region, the barley is harvested in the spring, April, but 7 weeks later there's a harvest of the wheat. Yes, in Pentecost there's a harvest of the wheat. Yes. This is how do you say, when the celebration of the 10 Commandments or the celebration of the first fruit ביקורים או שבועות, ביקורים, ביקורים, let's write it, yes, שבועות, 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 שבועות is the time of harvest, yes, the wheat, and at the same momentum, also the Torah or the Ten Commandments are being given. What is the relation between the harvest of the wheat and the Ten Commandments? What is the relation? Because it comes together. What is the relation, as Yanis asked? Yes? Is the light? Yes? People can understand. So, the relation is that when people eat wheat, yes, or bread, this is also a developed mind, yes, illuminated mind that eat wheat, illuminated mind. There's a beautiful lore that says that babies usually at 1 year, when they are 1 year, they have already 1 or 2 or 3 teeth. They can eat little pieces of bread, and in parallel, they start to speak the first or the second or the third word. There is a relation between the ability to process bread and to speak. Yes? So, in June, usually, this is the time of the year. June, there's a harvest of wheat. The days are getting longer. The wheat is gold. The days are really with a lot of sun, almost no clouds, so you can see the light from the sun and the golden wheat. And there's the harvest of the wheat. And it comes with the 10 Commandments, the ability to understand or to capture, like the freedom, yes? Always when I look at the Statue of Liberty, yes, the French present, France gave present to the state, the Statue of Liberty. She holds in one hand the torch, the fire, and in one hand the book, and she has like something like crown on her head, and always it seems to me like a wheat, because the wheat also has those thorns like knowledge or illumination, like freedom, liberty. Liberty, in Latin we have libo. Libo is a book. Yes, the ability to read, to communicate, to understand. Hello Shlomo, Shabbat Shalom. Yes, so it comes together. The value of bread, yeah. It always seems to me the spikes of the wheat, because the wheat grains, they are between those hairs, so to speak, or yes, there's a grain and there's not a thorn, but a weed. I don't know how to call it. Probably it has a name in English, and another one, another one. Yes. So this is it. The value of bread, lechem, is 78. Yes. 3 times being, 3 times 26. Yes. This is another take. Yes, because in some lore we find that the wheat is the tree of knowledge, but now the bread, the value of bread is 78, or 3 times being, 26 is being. So 3 is a balance, and then we have, this is the value of bread. Yes, yes, you see? Thank you, Cindy. Yes, this is it. Yes, the liberation, liberated mind, not of a slave. Yes, that he is a spirit, that we are spirits, not bodies. This is the liberty. Yes, of course. We don't see that, but if we could see, not our, we don't have ability to see so much, Cindy, though we think we see telephones and screens and a telescope, but we, deep inner seeing, we are capable, but most of us are looking outside. Inside, when someone eats, this is interesting because the body becomes a great vehicle, and then the soul is really full on. When we eat, when we are agitated and something happens, we drive in the sun, we walk in the sun, so it's good to chill a bit, to eat something, to relax. Yes? And when there's like, we can relax and chill and from any kind of agitation, the soul is full plugged inside. Yes? And then there's a beautiful contact, consciousness in a way, you get boom, because when we eat, there's like full battery, and then the soul is really comes in full. And then if we could see, if we want to see, it depends how, it's like we are radiating. Yes, we are radiating. It's not for nothing that the Statue of Liberty has this crown, so to speak. Questions? Therefore, when people, there are all kinds of people that are taking all kinds of diet, yes, 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 of course. Yes, there are 7 spikes. Yes. Yes. When people are taking all kinds of diets, some girls in their teens and sometimes later, I don't know, they want to look good, they want to rate themselves. What happens is they go to a deep fasting. Yeah. And when people go for deep fasting, there is a way, so to speak, the soul, yes, is, how do you say, is detached. Because there is no placeholder for the soul if we don't eat. There is no placeholder for the soul. So it is recommended to eat, and not over exaggerating, but to eat, because there's a good connection between the soul and the body. Yes, because we are not, it is interesting, we are not our bodies, that's for sure. Yes, we are not our bodies, but there is a body, yes, that appears in space and time. And the body needs to eat and to drink, to serve. And if we are preventing it from the body to eat and to drink, the soul is detached, is getting farther and farther detached. Also, cognitively, something happens when the soul is getting far, because it's not pleasant. And people try to control, they think that they go for diet, it's this foolish take on burning calories and counting, and they think that there's a mistake, of course, but people think that they control how much calories they eat and how much they burn. They can calculate and they have a sense of control. Yes, I know what I eat and how much and what time, and I'm managing everything. Yes, but it's not. It is just an illusion. It is just an illusion. If it's not pleasant, the soul will go far. There is a beautiful description in one of Luzzato's book. He was a sage that lived in the 18th century in Italy, in Padua. He says there is a term, it's like when the soul, we could say the soul has eyes. We have, in a way, the human body has eyes of flesh, and the eyes of flesh are open to the outside world. Yes, but the soul can see inside. And the soul, while the soul noticed a stressed moment, that, so to speak, the body experienced some kind of stress, uneasiness, or the soul, in a way, is closing one eye inside, not to see the stress or what is happening, and is getting far. Yes, the more, this is interesting, the more we have a sense that we are the landlords, that we control every calorie. It's not just about calories, it's about every control, sense of control that we have. The soul is, in a way, getting far. Yes, there's a beautiful saying, he and me cannot be in one place. The sense of controlling and the sense of divinity cannot be in the same space, meaning having control and being is only being. Being was before everything. This is the infinite. And if we have a sense that I'm controlling something, so first of all, it's a lie. Yes, it's a denial of being. And the being, in a way, does not have any problem to minimize itself, to hide. So, just a general saying, it's good for the soul, yes, for the sense of being, that it is pleasant. Pleasant, in Hebrew, na'im. Na'im. Yes. Na'im. Pleasant. And this is the 4 letters of the name Naomi. Naomi. It means pleasant. Her name was or is pleasant. Naomi. I'm not sure that I wrote it right in English. How do you say Naomi? N-O? Naomi or Naomi? How do you say Naomi? Because in Hebrew it's different. Naomi. Naomi, yeah. Naomi. Naomi. Yeah. Pleasant. Yes, Naomi, according to the book of Zohar, is the name of the soul. Everything is pleasant. There is no stress, no hesitation, no harshness, no tense. Pleasant. Therefore, we read in the Bible that Ruth cleaved to her. Yes? Ruth cleaved to Naomi, to the soul. If you remember in the story, Boaz gives her to Ruth 6 measures of wheat. Yes, 6 measures of wheat. The story of Ruth, or the book of Ruth, we also read in Shavuot. So we read about the 10 Commandments. We read the story or the book of Ruth. And we read the verses of preparing or bringing the first fruit to the temple. Those are 3 things, because also Shavuot is a pilgrimage. Yes, there is a pilgrimage in Shavuot. There are 3 holidays in which there is a pilgrimage: Passover, Shavuot, and Sukkot. Yes, 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 that's correct. There's a beautiful Zohar. There are so many beautiful pages of the Zohar about the book of Ruth. It's a beautiful story. The value or the letters of Naomi is also my people. Yes, Naomi, Ami, my people. It is a beautiful story of people leaving behind them. Which city, when the book opens, which city do they leave? They leave, what I mean leave? They go out from a place. They leave one place. What is the name of the place that they live? Ruth chapter 1. And it was in the time of the judges, and it was famine in the country. Which place do they live? In Ruth chapter 1. There's a drama happening. In the first verse, the drama starts. This is how you start a movie. Which place do they live? The family. What is the name of the city that they live? Yes. What is the meaning of Bethlehem? Bethlehem. What is the meaning of the name Bethlehem? House of bread. Yes. This is how it starts. To leave the house of bread. Now, what did we say in the beginning? That what happens when we're agitated or we are hungry? What happens to the soul? If we don't sit and eat and rest, what happens to the soul? Yeah. Yes. So what happens when we can even forecast? We don't need to read the rest of the verses. What happens when they leave the house of bread? It is a prophecy, isn't it? It is written. Yes, yes. It means that not on a bread alone, but according to the word of God. Yes? To the word, not, yes? Ki al motza pi Hashem. Motza pi Hashem, the word of God. Yes? The word of God. Have you noticed that when usually people sit next to the table, it comes together? This is why we say to break a bread. Yes? This is it. If we notice when we sit to the table, whether at home or outside, drink something, eat something, usually it comes with words. It doesn't come in silence. Yes? Because in a way, food or drinks comes in, but where the speech comes from, where the ability of speaking come from. Who speaks in a person? Who speaks? Yes, but who? Who speaks in a person? Yes. Yes. So usually people are setting the table, sitting somewhere. There's coffee on the table or something, yes? They drink, but it comes also, unless if people are really, I don't know, do not feel good or something, it comes with a conversation. Or people mentions ideas or something that they read, it comes with words. Yes, it comes with words, meaning, and this is the question that I think Yanis asked about, not the bread alone, not just stuff things inside, yes, to feed the kettle, yes, but also it comes with words. If there's only eating without speaking, this is feeding the animal. The body is like a cattle. Yes, it has the same system. If it's only eating, cattle cannot speak. So therefore, not on the bread alone, but with speaking, with words. Some people use technically even this. Yes, they say a little blessing before they eat. It doesn't matter in which language, or they say a word. Yes, because the word comes from the soul, from being, like you say, from within. Yes? And it doesn't matter if it's like written blessing or whatever comes to them, or they even share idea or a dream or something that they read in a book, but words are coming out. Yes, yes, word is a spirit. Yes. And the Spirit of God was hovering above the face of the water. And God said, "Let there be light." When we hear someone speak, we there's immediately a sense of electricity or tension, because it doesn't matter if people exchange words in the bus or somewhere, I don't know, in the supermarket, or there's something going on. Casual words. It's a living soul that communicates. Yes, 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 that's correct. There are stories in the prophets, and also in nature we see that when in the moments of hard famine, the mothers eating their babies. Yes, yes, we see this in nature, in a cat's pregnancy, or yes, when there's a deliverance, and not all of them are coming alive. All the kittens, yes, are coming alive and vital as the mothers, they eat the babies. Nourishment. Meaning there is no spirit. Feminine, meaning there is no spirit. It's like the story of Elijah and the widow. Yes, from Sarfend. It's the same story. There was a famine and there's no spirit. She says he asked her something and she said, I have something only for her and for her son, then they will die. This is the last drop. Yes, before he asks her. Was looking for like dry, how do you say, branches to make a bit of fire, to make a little cake or bread before they will die. The last meal, so to speak. There's a lack of spirit. It doesn't, sometimes we hear the word famine, which is associated to feminine, and you're right, Cindy. And sometimes we read about the widow. A widow is a woman without a husband, or a body without a spirit. Yes, therefore Elijah has to come. Also, after there's a famine of 3 years, yes, he comes and he promised her. There was a strong famine in the Shomron. Yes, this is the time of Elijah. Yes, it is true. Yes, it is true. She is also a widow and there's a famine. It comes together. Yes. Periods of famine, yes, is periods when there's a lack of spirit. Because it is interesting, also Weinreb writes about it in the book. Famine in English, Ra'av. He explained it as boredom. Yes, as boredom. We think usually that people have nothing physically to eat, but he says no, when people are bored, they know everything. They've seen it, they've done it. Yes? It's the tree of knowledge. Lack of spirit. Lack of being. Everything is known. I know what to do. People usually go with schedules. Tuesday at 4, tennis, something, piano at 5. Everything is, how do you say, closed. Yes? Planned 2 years ahead. This is famine. Everything is closed. All the week is closed with meetings. I know what to do 10 years ahead. This is famine. Because there is no space for being. The spirit is being. If there's no space, as everything is locked in advance, this is famine. Famine is also a sense of knowing. When someone feels that he knows, that he has it all, he figured it out. This is famine. He knows everything. His knowing fulfills all the fields and nothing new can come. This is famine. Because knowing is a situation of the body. Not knowing or being, yes, This is non-duality. Because the body knows. Knows is a consequence of meeting two. To a meeting. Yes, this is non-duality. Not to, not knowing. Maybe also why cults have so much turmoil and abuse within the members. No spirit. Yes, yes, yes. This is it. This is it. Yes. How there are words in. How there are words. Different expressions. Yes. Because okay, yes, there is nomenon. Nomenon is the one, the source, the origin, and there is the phenomenon, the appearance. So in the appearance there are many, like 4 seasons or 4 fingers, and the nomenon is one, like one thumb, one origin, one source. There is no problem. There's consciousness in rest. This is the nomenon. Consciousness in motion, phenomenon. There's no problem. There's silence. This is the nomenon, the origin. There's a speaking. There's a phenomenon. Speaking is a phenomenon. Now, when Elijah goes to Saraphat, to the widow woman, after a while the situation gets better. But one day she said, "Why did you come here, the man of God, to show me my sins?" What happens? Her son got sick. And Elijah took the child and revived him. Who was this child that Elijah revived? The son of the widow. In the book of Kings, chapter 17. Who was this child? This child grew to be the prophet Jonah. The child that Elijah revived is Jonah. I'm not sure that I spell it good in English. If there's a need, you can correct me. Or opposite, maybe. 1 second. Jonah like this. Yeah, like this. Yes, thank you. So the name of the child is Jonah. Thank you, Yanis. So Elijah the prophet, yes, revived Jonah. Yes, son of Amittai. Yes, Yonah ben Amittai. Why? Yonah ben Amittai, it means Jonah, the son of truth. Why? Why the son of truth? Yonah ben Amittai. Why is he called Amittai, son of truth? Because Elijah, yes, is the man of truth, and he revived him. So he is being called upon the one who revived him. Yes, the man of God or the man of truth. Therefore, Yonah ben Amittai, he is called upon his spiritual father. Yes, the spirit came through Elijah, the true spirit, the reviving spirit came through Elijah. Therefore, he is called Ben Amittai. Amittai comes from Emet. Emet is truth. He is the son of truth because he is the son of spirit, not in a way the son of his mother, the widow. Please pay attention to the story. Yes, there was a widow, her son got sick. Yes, there's a beautiful story in the Zohar about this world. Alma de Nukba, the world of the feminine, the world of the feminine. Therefore, he needs to be sick and to be revived by Elijah to become the man of spirit. Do you understand the process? Yes. There is a saying that says, there's no poor but in mind in English or in spirit. It depends. In Hebrew we say, En ani ela bedaat. There is no poor but in mind. And maybe we can translate it as, there is no poor but in spirit. Yes? So the widow, she was poor in spirit. Therefore Elijah was called to go there. Sarfent in Hebrew, Tzarfat, Sarfent, Sarfat. Narrow slice of bread. We can divide the word Tzarfat or Sarfent to two words. When Tsar is narrow, Tsar like Mitzrayim, narrow. Pat is a piece of bread, narrow bread, meaning there's no bread there. This is the opposite of Bethlehem, yes? Bethlehem is a house of bread. Tzarfat or Sarfent, according to the English, is Tsar Pat. This is narrow. Pat is a piece of bread, a narrow piece of bread. So Tzarfat is the opposite of Bethlehem. Sarfent. Therefore, Elijah is asked to go there because it's a narrow space. No space for the spirit, because the bread is just what? A mirror of the spirit. If there's a narrow piece of bread, there's no spirit. The bread is masculine. In this moment, the bread is masculine. 3 times 26, as we mentioned in the beginning, 3 times being. In this case, the bread, yes, is masculine. We have a saying about the one who makes money in a family, the breadwinner. usually thought to be the husband. Yes, 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 yes. And this is how we started. You remember, Cindy, with the question about the wheat? Yes, and we arrived to those beautiful stories about Naomi, Bethlehem, the famine, Ruth, Boaz, Elijah, the widow, and Jonah, the son of Amittai. Do you have any questions that you would like to ask? If not, I would like to ask or to thank you for being with us here today and to wish you a beautiful season, summer, wherever you are, or winter in the other side, in the southern hemisphere. And we can meet here on Monday. Thank you. Thank you so much for being with us. And maybe on Monday we can flow into those biblical themes since we are approaching Shavuot. Let's see what comes on Monday as it comes on the moment. Thank you so much. Shabbat Shalom and beautiful life together. Toda. See you soon.